right, what's going on? Welcome back. We here. All right, we here with D and Vince, man. With Tri City, and guess what? We in 2026, and guess what? We're gonna kick this first podcast off with. We're gonna be talking about goal setting. We talk about 10x goals. We want to talk about family. We want to talk about business, personal. We got some great things that we implemented, like our family office. We want to talk a little bit about the housing market. But yo, man, hey, welcome. And we just so excited with everything that we got going on. Everything it's a very intriguing time, I should say, in 2026. A lot of things going on in the world. But let's talk real estate. Let's talk, growing. Let's talk about creating your goals. Let's talk about scaling, and let's get into it, man. What's going on, Vince? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited. Goal setting is one of my favorite topics.
I know, I know. So since it's one of your favorite times, I'm gonna let you jump in it, right? I know how we set our goals, but and I know we already kind of aligned and had our meetings and things like that. But um, can you break down how you actually set your goals and kind of just get a quick rundown on that?
Yep. So what we do is my wife and I, and my kids are married, three kids, 13, 11, and 9. Um, right now, me and my wife set our goals. My kids get a little bit older. They're going to be involved in this process as well, and we set family goals. How we do it is we'll go and do normally like a weekend getaway or something like that, someplace where we can get clear our schedules, clear distractions, and we start with what's called a vivid vision. So vivid vision exercise, I didn't invent it, picked it up along the way, and it is very fun to do. It's probably one of the funnest parts of this whole process. Is You sit down, blank sheets of paper, and you just ask, if money wasn't an option, if time wasn't an option, what would our lives look like? What is the perfect version of our lives? How we want to live, how we want to give, how we want to raise our families, and things like that. What does a typical day look like? And all the things, and it called vivid vision, so it's as detailed as possible, all down. What type of car you driving? How much money you got in the bank? How much you give into your church or charities. So that's like the first part, is doing the vivid vision. Um, then we get the next part is like, all right, if we took that vivid vision and then took it up a notch, even a bigger notch, like we call it the BHAG or the 10x, right? So big, hairy, audacious goal, or the 10x is like we have our vivid vision, like let's kick it up one more notch, let's go
Right.
one more
Yeah.
up, one more rep up. And what does that look like? Like stuff that I can't even comprehend a life like that. Come from where I came from, it's like what would that even look like? And then you write all that down, and then from there, that's the first part of the exercise. And the next part is we do some backwards planning. Then the whole next part of the exercise, day or days after, is like we just backwards plan. All right, what does it actually look like to live that life and to achieve those things? What do we have to achieve 10 years, 5 years, 1 year, this quarter? And then we break it down, and then we take those yearly goals, put them on the cards, and then boom, that's what we look at. That's what's in our face every single day, to make sure that we're going after those little rocks, that are going to make us achieve our 1 year goal, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year goals.
Okay.
So that's the
Yeah.
basic high level of how we
Yeah.
do it.
Okay. No, no, and one of the things you keep on mentioning, for the listeners, you keep on saying 10x goals. Me and you both big fans of, Grant Cardone, the 10x rule book, just, you know, thinking about how do you 10x, all right? Instead of you saying that, hey, I want to save, $10,000, how do I get to $100,000? And it's all about that mindset, which goes back to how we do it, at my house or, this year in particular, we started, we always go right around January 1st. Like January 1st, you kind of, we got through Christmas, we got through, the New Year's, and we sit down with the family. All right. We sit down with the family. And this year right here was actually in Thailand. And we had, when we sit down with our family, we have our kids, because we have actually older kids too as well. Even though our little kids, we sit them down and kind of talk about goals, and we breaking them up in three buckets. And we tell them and say, hey, listen, we want you to write down, and we try to teach them too as well about think big, think 10x, and think category. I want you to think business, family, and personal. Now, my kids, obviously, they not right now. Some of them not in the age to even thinking about business. So we say, just think about, what you want to be in your career. You know what I'm saying? Like, start thinking about, saying what you want to be. And then my older kids, obviously, they more focused on, entrepreneur and some just just in life in general, right? So we break everything down, we put them in these three buckets, and when we bust it down in those three buckets, we tell them, right, 3 to 5 you 10x, and then we have them pretty much backwards plan, just like you said. And now when I say that is a game changer, is unbelievable. And that right there has, since we've been doing that, we also asked them to put those goals and write those goals down and put them on a 3x5 card, because when they put them on that 3x5 card, they write everything down and put it on that mirror, whether it's in the bathroom or inside their rooms, because their rooms in their closets got mirrors. So, and we have them, what I'm saying, so they can be visual, so they can see it. And then on Sundays, we have our family meetings. When we have our family meetings, we obviously, hey, where you at with your goals? And, throughout the week, just really just focusing and helping them create their goals. But that's what kind of like we do.
We've been doing this for a long time, goal setting and setting up targets, knocking them down. What do you think is what separates the people that just go through the motions of doing these things versus the ones that actually like get things done?
The thing was separate people is like, obviously, every year, what I'm saying, we own fitness centers, and first couple weeks of the year, everybody's like mindset like done changed. New year, new me. I think we get a lot of that. Same thing with goal setting too. I think that falls in the same category. Losing weight, fasting, and all those things. But I think what's separated, is just it goes back to the doers, the ones that really have the mindset, the ones that are really key in and want to. I think, like, for us, we come from humble beginnings, and those humble beginnings that we don't take lightly. I think we also everyone have family. I think it's a lot of weight on our shoulders. I think it's a lot of weight not just on our shoulders that we're thinking about too as well for those doers. And just we got payroll, we got people, we got a lot of people that depend on those people that are doers. Seem like they got just more stuff on their shoulders that they have to focus on. But that's what I think. I mean, I think just that would separate them.
One of the things I observed, and I ended up integrating this into my, when I go and teach goal setting and stuff like that, is the importance of having a strong why. And I think that's the biggest difference. I see the people that give up, the second, the rain starts pouring, or the second they stumble and scrape their knee, and the people that just grind through is because they have a strong enough why attached to that goal that failure is not an option. Like, I ain't going back. Like, I'm not going back there. Like, this must work. And the people that can get into that mindset where their why is so strong that failure is not an option, and they have that purpose, like, they will figure out a way, and they will outlast everybody else. That's the biggest thing in
What was your
entrepreneurship
aha?
is
What was
survival,
your
right?
aha? I know you had an aha moment, like during that whole process,
Man,
right?
I
Like,
had I
what
had
was
so
the
many aha
aha
moments.
moment for you? Like, what? I'm not going back, right? Like,
Man, I've had so many. On goal setting, I can't. I've had so many. I can think of one. Actually, I had one today, and it's a little bit on goal setting, a little bit on leadership. And I'll tell you this one. I actually was gonna. I wrote it down. I talked it into my plot. I was gonna make a whole post about this because once I formulate the thought. So the thought I had today was how on my goal setting for this year was to really key in on my systems and processes and delegation. And I know we entrepreneurs, we say that all the time, oh, systems, process, blah, blah, blah. What does that mean and why does that matter? First it's like, oh, well, I need systems and processes in order to, so I can scale and I can make more money and I can do all these things. So I need to have systems, processes, so I can delegate out and I can free up my time to do bigger things. That to me, that was like, all right, that's the goal. The aha moment I had today, and I'm going to refine this so I can articulate it better. But I was on my way to the gym, and the aha moment was, I need better systems and processes so I can delegate better, so I have the time to do the things intentionally with focus and purpose that I can't delegate. And that's my faith,
Egypt.
that's being a father, and that's my health. You can't
Yeah,
delegate those three things. So
100%.
I need better systems and processes and work so I can be present in the things I can't delegate. So that was the aha moment I had today, and it was like I had to like stop my truck like in the parking lot. And I was like, I think I just hit something here, and I wrote it. I talked it all into my phone. I was like, I'm gonna write this down later and figure out what this thought is. But it was pretty powerful.
I think that is spot on. I mean, that is I can't agree with you more about that when you mentioned delegation. I mean, like what things that I can't delegate, and you can't delegate that. You cannot delegate your health whatsoever. You cannot delegate the time missed with your kids, your family. You just can't delegate that. And I think that was really big. That how do you handle big difference and risk tolerance? I mean, um, as far as like going through all this, um, like how do you handle that?
The risk tolerance. I think I have a higher threshold for risk tolerance. Mainly because I have a confidence in myself that I will be able to figure it out. And that's could be a little foolish in some aspect, but I'm not out there doing crazy gambling schemes or anything like that. Like, oh, I'm just gonna win. I got the Midas touch. I don't. It's not like that, but it's like when adversity hits or some big obstacle comes or I get knocked down, it's like I don't let it beat me up too much because I know my work ethic and I know my shoulders can handle the weight.
Right.
And I was like, I can outlast. Just keep pushing forward. And I have the confidence in my past experiences that I have the wherewithal to get through it. So that gives me a little bit more confidence to risk tolerance. But yeah, I'm not out there, putting everything on black either.
Right. Right. So with where we at right now, 2026, we got about 100, say 50, $60 million, something like that, right? Of real estate. Those multifamily units, not counting your company that you own, also, right? The service-based companies. How many hours do you put into work? Like, like like how many hours you think you put in per day, per week?
It's a lot. I'm probably still doing um 15, 15 hours of work, but it's not like I'm clocking in, and grinding at a computer for 15 hours a day. So it's like it's broken up, so it doesn't feel as bad,
Right, right.
um, or as stressful. But yeah, it's 15, 16 hours a day. My mind is on a
So about
task.
80. So that's about 80 hours because
Yeah,
some Saturdays I know we get on or Sunday may get on. Um, and I'm probably around that. I'm trying to get it. I would love to get it, I like to get up early in the morning, 5 o'clock, be in the gym by 5:30 or outside, walking or running or whatever, getting my thoughts together. That space is, I call that's like super protected. Like my team know, don't call me. Like, I don't want to take meetings unless I really have to, but that's like my personal time, to kind of like focus on me, focus on the personal. That's where we got the whoop. During that time, that's why I'm walking. I'm looking at my whoop, looking at my HRV, how many hours, what is my recovery, looking at all those trends so that we can focus on health. Um, but what is some of your non-negotiables when it comes to family? That is like, hey man, like I'm trying to like this is non-negotiable. Like you said, you want to find time, but you're working 80 hours a week So by the time you add, it's only so many hours in a day, 15 hours a day, so many hours. So how do you balance that? Plus, we got to get some sleep. How many hours are you sleeping? If you want to answer that too.
My whoop says not enough. Yeah, generally about about 5 6 hours of sleep is pretty decent, and something that that's interesting, the whole circadian rhythm cycle stuff is like, and I was telling I was talking to John with this, is like, if I wake up at 6 a.m., even if I only had 5 hours of sleep, 6 hours of sleep, I'm fine. But if I wake up at 6:30, I feel like dog crap. And I was like, so, and it's like, because your circadian rhythm is all, you wake up in your wrong part of the cycle. So generally, I'm bed by 11, up by 6. It's generally where I'm at. Protected time, I got church on Sundays. That's protected time. My mornings, that 5:30. If I wake up at 5:30, but to like 9. I try not to have any meetings if I can avoid it, and that's kind of like my mental time. Get everything right. Go to the gym. Get prepared. And then as my kids are getting older, I'm going to be starting to get more protective of that family time, because it's like fleeting. I'm very conscious that my daughter's 13, my son's 11. My it's actually my son's birthday today, and and he just turned to 9 today, and I'm like, all right, I only got so many years left with them. 5 years left before they're all teenagers, or in their early 20s or whatever. So I was like, I got to get more protective of carving out time with them. One of the I'll say this and I kind of pass it up back to you, see what you do. But one of the things I saw that was very unique was to schedule date night with each of your kids on the day of their birthday once a month. So if my daughter's birthday is the 23rd of August, then every 23rd throughout the year, I have a date night with her. So then in a year, I've had 12 dates with my daughter, or 12 dates with my son. And I thought that was a very easy thing to implement
Yeah.
that can be consistent. So that's one of the things that we implemented last year, and it worked really well.
That's good. I actually do that. Today is date night with my daughter, and one of the things that is, when we work, and there's so many things. You got work, and it seems like everything is urgent. You got to sleep, you got to work, you got to put out fires. And I tell you right now, like where I'm at with our company, outside of Tri City and Multifamily, we're trying to scale a new franchise. So now they're kicking up a whole nother gear, but I have got better to bring on people, teams, systems, and processes, and really delegate. Like just implementing like all types of tools. Trying to just that 4 hour work week. If you have not read that book, if you're listening, read the 4 hour work week. Like I be sending like loan videos, like, hey, can I get on a call? Hold on for a minute. I'm about to jump on a call. Like, no, let me just do a quick loan, because I get on a call, they'll take, that call, what I thought would make 10 minutes end up being 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and you can't get that time back. Um, but yeah, so, one of the things that also we implement, and back in the day, I just tell people, I was like, hey man, like I block it off my calendar, and I put, family meetings and family time, especially every Sunday we have a family meeting, so we can make sure they're, looking at those goals and talking about schools, and, what you're going to do, like just setting up everything. Right. And so we do that. And we have seen how that have helped us. And I also have seen how it has played a big impact in my older kids, things that we've been implementing at for a long time, for many years, and they're still doing that. And it's actually is a great sight to see, and see how the oldest ones, but kind of go back. And I also think that your younger kids gets a little bit more time, I think, for me, what I'm saying, than I had missed with the older kids, because being in both us, serving the military, you got deployments, you got military, you got all these things, and being an entrepreneur on active duty. Shoot, man, like I was literally working 20 hours. You know what I mean? Like 18, 20-hour days was like the norm. 4 hours of sleep. Where is the time that with family? Where is the time to have those dates? Those are the things that I didn't get the opportunity. I wished I had. So when you say that, listen, your kids, getting older, and talking about non-negotiables with me is definitely, I'm home, I'm working hard, I control our time. It's not like I'm answering someone else. If I need to move a meeting to be somewhere and it's family, I'm going to make sure it happens. So being able to go to those games, practices, and when I can, it's just great. It's better, but I think that I can do better, and I just want to continue to improve in those areas. Because, like you said, because once it's gone, it's gone. We're like, holy crap! And then I messed up in all of this. So yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Let's switch over, because let's talk, if we want, like, real quick. Let's talk about the housing market, and or just the market in general, the economy. And I know we talk all the time. We are currently buying assets and looking at assets, and we done picked up some good properties on the past 12 months, about $90 million from where it last traded, and we got about, somewhere around 30% discount across 3 properties. So that's going to be some great upside. But where are we at right now? You want to talk about market? Where we at? Where you think we're going to be at in that 6 months, 12 months, and so on?
Yeah, well, I don't know single family houses, so I'll talk about the the commercial stuff, multifamily. We had an event recently, for the real estate group, and I had myself as the operator there. I had our mortgage banker there, and I had one of our brokers there, and I drew a market cycle on the whiteboard. It's the wave, right? And I asked them, all of us, to go up there and put a dot on that market cycle where and they were not prompted, they weren't prepped before that. It was on the spot, and I was like, put a dot on that map, or on that cycle, where you think we're at, and then provide a justification to the group. It was a group of about 20 investors, of why you think we're there and what 2026 looks like. So I'll recap that exercise we did. So all of us independently went up to the board, and we put a dot about an inch apart from each other, and we're right at the bottom of the curve, as it kind of flattens out and then starts coming back up. So right before it kind of bottoms, right, is like right at that cusp, is where they thought we were. Their justification was, um, on mine, for operations. We bought on the way up and operate on the way up, and we operate on the way down. I'm seeing where rents are. I'm seeing where vacancies are, and I'm seeing, just on operations, because we're boots on the ground here, and I'm just like, I'm not sure it can go much lower, on the operations, just based off of uh, what we're seeing there, for where rents are at, where vacancies are at, and things like that. For the mortgage banker, he was saying, his point was, mathematically, the way that the capital markets work, the lending market works, he doesn't think it's going to go much lower, because of just the math of building, um, a deal, right? The mortgage for a deal, where money comes from, how big institutions value debt, how they value the equity and the ROIs of just commercial real estate, and the yields and things like that. So more of a, I guess, financial modeling. He was saying, like, mathematically, he doesn't think it's going to go much lower, because there's big money that's been on the sidelines for the last 5-6 years, and it's starting to wake up. And then the broker, at a big brokerage firm here in Dallas, said the same thing. He said, he's kind of seen the wave coming down, 20-30% discounts, and then now we're at a point now where he's the discounted stuff that used to be sitting, like, he couldn't get a buyer to pick up the phone to sell something to. Now they're back to getting more of a competitive market, where multiple offers and stuff like that. So he's thinking it's getting kind of bottomed out as well. The two things he said on that, to add, was he's getting calls from, like, family offices, PEs, and REITs that he hasn't talked to, or his firm hasn't talked to, in 10 years. And he's like, the big smart money, like, we're talking, you know, hundreds of million, family office that has $500 million that he hasn't called looking for properties in 10 years is all of a sudden calling, and they're just writing cash offers on stuff. So he's like, that was a big indicator that we're probably at the bottom because that's smart money. When people say smart money, that's the smart money people are talking about, right? And then the other one was the other asterisk he put on that was even though the prices have, and he was kind of a little bit further up on the curve, but still close to the bottom, was that even though the discounts, he thinks that the prices probably aren't going to go much lower, just kind of like what the second guy said with the mathematically, he doesn't think they're going to go much lower, but he thinks there's a lot more of them still to come. There's a
Right.
lot more distressed sellers that still need to kind of flush out, REO properties that are in foreclosure that need to kind of flush through the market. But he thinks they're going to be at the same prices. He doesn't think the prices are going to go down. They just got to work through the system. That's going to be their forecast was probably Q1, Q2, 2026, and then as we get out of Q2 into Q3,
Agreed.
Q4,
Yeah.
we should rebound, and all that stuff should kind of flush through the market. And then there's always some crazy black swan event like us bombing Iran or something crazy like that that's just going to throw a monkey wrench in everything. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, no, you spot on, man, and we're seeing it too as well on the acquisition team. We seeing a lot more of those distress properties coming in the market, and throughout this whole market cycle has been very interesting because we have now, first it was like, we was able to pick up, some A class assets, more so because that's, I think one group was when everything they was just over leveraging their portfolio and they were just selling a great asset to get cash, and then the other ones that just come work the numbers out because they purchase at these high levels, right? These high cost bases, and like we always tell make sure you buy it right, because if you finance it and you don't have the wrong way to go, and you're only getting this 2-3 years and the loans mature, you want to make sure you got to make sure you will protect it. Have those what's the name of those, what is called, those rate locks. What is not the rate locks, but the
The floating rate is what you're talking about.
where they have the floating rate, but they can protect themselves if it's um,
Rate cap.
rate cap. Yeah, the rate cap. Making sure you have a rate cap in place. A lot of people didn't have rate caps in place, and was able. But now, like you said, a lot of these bank owned properties are about to hit the market, and every call that we're getting on and everything that we send, talking to brokers, and everybody's is definitely anticipating a lot of that to hit the market. So I think it's going to be a very like great opportunity where it's going to be a lot of opportunities for people to buy, and the people that has been well positioned, it's going to be great, and then the people that was over leveraged, they're going to be out the market. They're done, right? They are out of the market. They don't have capital, or whatever the case may be, and there's going to be groups out there, like those family office and private equity, and small companies and family office like ourselves, that's going to be in position, ready to go, ready to pick these properties up as what we have done. The last three properties we got at that 30% discount, and we looking to add even more. Like you're looking at the properties, that the two that we're looking at today that we were just discussing. Um, you know, those properties, you talking 40%, discount, all bank owned, receivership type properties. Just thinking about picking those up at the cost basis in DFW is we came in the market, those same year product was asset was going $150 a door, and then throughout this whole 2 years we seen it go down from $100,000 a door maybe down to 80, 90. Now we talking about bank owned, where you talking about half, just cut it out. Now you're talking about 50,000, 45,000, 40,000 a door, and that's going to be some great opportunity for the people that's going to be that are well positioned. And one of the things, just that are well positioned, they may just been getting by because they not over leveraged. Their loan to value, or is a great ratio, and they are been able to, I'll say, survive. And I think that's what 2023, 24, 25, it was all about. Can we survive? Can we survive? And what I always tell people in market cycles, it only shows one thing. It shows who has their systems and process, who have their affairs in order. All right, if your affairs in order during a market cycle, you will be okay. All right, and you'll be okay. But if you're not, if your affairs not in order, you don't have systems, you don't have processes, you just over leverage, you didn't finance it right, you're not gonna survive, and you're gonna end up in the graveyard. So no, I agree. I look forward to 2026. And I think again, like you are spot on. I believe what you say as well. And that's 2 quarters. They're going to see a lot of opportunity come through, and then it's just going to shake out prior towards that summertime, and we should see prices or rates start to go down and see some opportunity there. So yeah, and, speaking of family office though, man, what are your thoughts? What we're doing. Those of you listening, we officially launched our family office as a multifamily office, and we're super excited because we really been wanting to focus on all things, not just buying apartments, building businesses, but what do you do with the capital, right? Because there's going to be capital that's going to come to our investors, to us, and want to make sure we have a plan, a wealth plan. And so I'm really excited about what that wealth plan, continue to diversify the portfolio, and continue to give back, philanthropy, and just continue to just kind of focus on business strategies and exits and multiples and all those things. But what are some things that that you're excited about the family offices and where we at now?
Yeah, the family office. The biggest things I'm excited about is having the structures of governance in place and the that risk mitigation across all the companies, across everything we do, and having somebody that's kind of you know out of the day to day operations, kind of just looking at just the enterprise as a whole and how it fits into our values, where we want to go, the legacy we want to live, the state we want to leave, and guiding us through that process to where not just living, creating a business that can operate without us. It's going to be creating a business that will operate and a structure that operate beyond us. That's because that to me is very exciting, and then have those structures in place where it's rigid enough that it's going to last 50 years, 100 years, 200 years. Um, versus just a couple decades. Or the second I die, then all of a sudden everything just gets liquidated, and whatever. It's like, no, we set this machine in place, and we have all the things there, the people there, of how it's going to be executed for generations. Like I talk a lot about the Rockefeller, estate, and how they were able to do it when all the other tycoons of the industrial age have all gone broke, decades ago, or and stuff like that. They're still crushing it.
I still crush it. What are the biggest mistake you think we made chasing like big goals? Like, can be anything. Is there any mistakes or that come across
Okay.
your mind? Like, oh man, I made this mistake because I'm chasing this big goal, right? And it's like one of those things. Go big or go home. Is there anything stick out to you?
Um, Luckily, we haven't made any gigantic mistakes that have set us back to like the starting line. We got skin knees, and we got man, that stings. Like, that sucks, but we're fighting another day, and let's not do that again. Let's not stick our hand in the beehive again. So we learn the lessons. We live to fight another day. So nothing has been catastrophic so far. So that's really good. Some of the biggest mistake, probably, like, for me personally, is we're talking about the family office stuff, is like I spent a lot of money setting up like the holding company and the trust and all that stuff without a whole lot of guidance, just kind of me trying to figure out myself. And then now realizing, here we are 5 years later, that I got to kind of redo all that stuff. Not that it was wrong. It was just that I didn't think of it. I didn't think far enough ahead. And now I already outgrew this
Got
thing that I
outgrew it,
already
you spent the
paid.
money, and you could have set
Yeah.
it up, and you could have saved more money if you knew, hey, it would have been cheaper if I would have set it up like this versus, yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's
Even though the check in the beginning would have been bigger, it would have been, it would have had room to grow with me. And right now it's not there.
nice.
So that is, yeah, that's probably the biggest one. That's like, I could have planned better. Obviously there's in each of the businesses, there's mistakes I make all the time, usually around marketing. So,
Okay. No, man. So no, that's great, man. Like, I look forward, this year as we continue to grow, we continue to scale. We're gonna be coming back to you, dropping more. There's a lot of things. We're gonna go through the process. We want to grow. Whoever watches, we want to grow with them. We want to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and it's gonna be a great year. And if you want to tap in, you can hit us up, www.tricity, or you go to www.theronbethea.com, and also Vince, how to get at you.
yep, I'm on all the socials. DM me on Facebook, DM me on Instagram, LinkedIn. We have all those, and if you want to check out our communities, we have Tri City Equity Group, like D said, and if you want to get into multifamily, and we got the Wheelbarrow Profits as well.
Awesome. Hey, until next time, we'll see you. We'll be talking more multifamily businesses and growing. Peace. Are you looking to become a passive or active investor in multifamily real estate? Or maybe you're at the point where you ran out of cash for not having any systems and processes or the right resources in place. Investing in real estate is an excellent way to start building multiple streams of income, but it can become challenging if you fail to overlook market analysis like selecting the right location, researching the current market trends, and finding the right property management company. You don't have to have a formal education in business or real estate to reach the success you desire. You just need a proven blueprint. Hey, I'm Deron Bethea, and I've been an entrepreneur and an investor since 2003. I started investing at the age of 20 when I was active duty military as a full-time soldier, and now I've created over $100 million in business and real estate assets, and currently host Hawaii's largest yearly business and real estate conference. If you do not know where to start, or maybe your investment properties are not profitable, you're not alone. That's why I created the Business and Real Estate Blueprint, a comprehensive course with insights, practical strategies, and actionable tools that can help you build and grow a real estate portfolio. If you're ready to start building generational wealth, click here to learn more.